Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, esteemed guests. It's a real pleasure to be with you here today to talk about Wa'ed Ventures, a wholly owned subsidiary of Saudi Aramco. My name is Mazen Lasnag and I head the venture growth function in Wa'ed. Just to get started, Wa'ed is a 500 million venture capital fund that was established to promote economic diversity and new business growth through investment in high impact startups across a number of different sectors. So our investment strategy rests on three key pillars. The first one is serving underserved domains, for example, quantum computing, space tech, sustainability, etc. Secondly, we look at supporting growth stage Saudi startups. And lastly, we invest in innovative global technologies for the purpose of localization. So we recognize the potential of global innovations to help us fill local technology gaps. And it is our belief that by investing in such startups, we can foster innovation and stimulate economic growth, as well as contribute to realization of Vision 2030. So now that we've got who we are and what we do out of the way as Wa'ed, I'll very quickly run through some of the important sort of elements that we consider when making any potential investment in an international startup. So first and foremost, we look at, does this investment fill a local technology gap? Or otherwise, would this technology be met through organic growth without the need for significant infrastructure development? Another important element that we look at is obviously the competency and the track record of the founding team. So things like, do they have complementary experiences? Do they have a proven track record of successful execution? And so on and so forth, which are critical sort of components for any startup's success. We also look at the novelty and defensibility of the technology itself to ensure it has a sustainable competitive advantage. So basically what we're asking here is, does this product or service solve a real problem, and does it have a meaningful advantage over existing solutions? Of equal importance is to understand the market potential. So things like the size, the growth prospects, and the market dynamics. Essentially, it's no secret that a startup that targets a sizable and growing market is more likely to achieve significant scalability and better return on investment. Sort of the last thing we look at is demonstrable traction to ensure that the startup is able to execute its business plan and achieve market fit. So things like revenue growth, churn, the ability to form meaningful strategic partnerships. These are all sort of different considerations we look at. Beyond these factors, for any particular investment, we look at how it fits within our own strategy and current portfolio, whereby we employ a mix of early stage investment and growth stage investment to help us achieve higher returns and execute earlier exits. The last thing I wanted to mention was our own investment philosophy is very much built on a partnership approach, where we work very closely with our startups to help them localize, navigate the local market, and hopefully, as we say, inshallah, achieve growth. And with that, I'd like to hand over to my colleague, Mishal Al-Yami, who will talk more about Wa'ed services as well as the various incentives and programs available to international startups looking to come to the local market. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mazen. And good morning, everyone. So I'll just continue where Mazen just left or stopped. At Wa'ed, we believe that investing is only one part of the equation or the puzzle. The other part is actually supporting and assisting these portfolio companies into realizing their real potential. And the way we do this is through focusing on five key focus support areas. And one of them is especially for global companies coming into Saudi. We assist them and support them in setting up their company here in Saudi. This means working with them closely, navigating how to issue their commercial registration, working with the Chamber of Commerce even going, to identifying office spaces for them and getting their national addresses in place, all the way to opening their bank account. Another way we support our portfolio companies is through what we call access to talent, where we streamlined the hiring process for our portfolio companies, also especially for our global companies coming into Saudi. And this is by working with top universities here in Saudi, including KFUPM in the Eastern Province. We also work with top international recruitment agencies, also regional agencies that help our portfolio companies hire C-suite or any specialized talent in Saudi. Another way we support our portfolio companies is by giving them access to the market here in Saudi. And the way we do this is, we facilitate introductions to, whether inside Saudi Aramco or outside to strategic projects or strategic companies here in Saudi. And lastly, we also support our portfolio companies when it comes to funding and fundraising. We do this in multiple ways. We help them refine their pitch decks. We help them enroll in the numerous programs offered by government entities such as the National Technology Development Program. They have some really great funding programs there. And then I think that's all from Wa'ed Ventures. I think I'll just hand it over to our friends at Aramco Ventures. Riyadh.
Thanks, Mishal. I'm Riyadh Tawili. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, everyone. I'm Riyadh Tawili. I'm heading the strategy in Prosperity 7. Aramco Ventures is the global venture capital arm of Saudi Aramco. It was established in 2012 and started with a $500 million fund and investing in oil and gas technologies. So think about it as a CVC. Since then, coming today, Aramco Ventures today is a $7 billion AUM with more than 100 employees. We headquartered in Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, and we're also strategically positioned in where innovation and disruptive technologies are rising. So we have offices in Palo Alto, San Francisco, New York, Houston, Boston, London, Aberdeen, and also in Beijing, Shanghai. Just before the end of the year, we're going to establish also our office in India, Bangalore. Aramco Ventures is it's actually 3 programs and 5 funds. The first program is the strategic venturing program. So it still have our the legacy fund that started in 2012, which is today we call the industrial fund. It has around 70 portfolio companies. Actually, one of them is here, and mainly the fund was established to invest in technologies that can add value to Aramco operations. And many of those portfolio companies are actually part of the Aramco operations, and they're adding a lot of value and increasing our operation efficiencies or reducing costs in some areas between industrial and digital solutions as well. In 2022, the program established a new fund, which is the Sustainability Fund. It's a $1.5 billion fund dedicated for investment in the sustainability area with an aim to invest in technologies that can help Aramco to achieve the net zero ambitions, the 2050 net zero ambition, and the Kingdom 2060. So to invest in technologies, of course, within decarbonization, hydrogen investment, even including digital investments in sustainability. We also have the diversified fund, or Prosperity 7. Prosperity 7 is purely a financial VC. It was established in 2020 with an aim to invest in disruptive technologies that are resilient, scalable, and able to be standalone businesses. Think about the technologies that are going to solve today's challenges, future challenges, or enable some of those solutions that can bring a lot of positivity to the world and humankind. So Prosperity 7 is, as I mentioned, it's more of a financial VC. It doesn't invest in sustainability, but we are sector agnostic. So do a lot of investment when it comes to AI, robotics, even healthcare as well, and we're investing globally. Our latest addition, the third program, which is the late stage venturing, it's a $2 billion program aimed to back our winners. Our both programs, between Prosperity 7 and Strategic Venturing, we invest from early as in seed, all the way to growth stages. And with the newly edition program, the late stage venturing, it will allow us to continue backing our startups and our portfolio companies that reach the stage of growth, and to be able to back them on the long term. So today we have around 150 portfolio companies from various sectors, different stages. But I will hand it to Taha to talk more about how we are differentiated from all other venture capital, and what do you expect being a portfolio company of Aramco Ventures. I'll hand it to Taha.
Thanks, Riyadh. Assalamu alaikum, good morning. My name is Taha Hussain. I'm part of the Strategic Venturing Group. And building on something that Riyadh mentioned, so we've been around more than a decade. And the big question that is, when you invest with Aramco Ventures, what do you get, right? On the previous session, they were talking about patient capital. So Aramco, I don't know if you had a chance to catch Mr. Khwaiter's early speech in the morning. He summarized it really well, that Aramco Ventures, the new technologies or tech solutions are not new to Aramco. Aramco has been a technology company since its inception. Whether it's upstream, downstream, or midstream, we are very well aware of the advanced technological solutions. Venture Arm is a tool in the toolbox which enables some of the startup companies to work with Aramco, whether it's Wa'ed or Aramco Ventures. We are here to provide smart money. And what I mean by smart money is when you come to Aramco Ventures, you get access to amazing subject matter expertise. So we have engineers, scientists in all disciplines. As Mr. Khwaiter mentioned, we are doing 1,000 patents per year from our R&DC. So there's a lot of knowledge that you get when you invest with Aramco. And also we provide a sandbox. So if you're a startup company, you can get access to bring your technology and kind of plug it into our operation, test it, pilot it, and then we will help you commercialize it. So all that takes a lot of time and efforts and resources, and we categorize ourselves as the patient capital. And it's a very collaborative model by design. So we work with the entrepreneurs to provide them subject matter expertise, resources, to give them a fair chance to prove out their technology. Tapping into the value chain and advice to the CEO or startups like a very tall order. I've spent a lot of time in my career working as an oil and gas engineer before the venture capital. And I also had the opportunity to work on the other side of being an entrepreneur early in my career. So it's basically a very collaborative relationship, right? You want your investor to help you, grow you, and commercialize your technology. So in Aramco, we have, as Riyadh mentioned, presently we have 150 companies between Wa'ed, Prosperity 7, and Strategic Venturing, and we've been kind of managing that portfolio for the last 10, 11 years. Now we want to kind of get into when you want to bring a technology or a startup company to Aramco, what do we expect, right? So I think from the technology side of things, I always advise entrepreneurs to come prepared to be able to explain in a very simple way what your technology does and where it fits in the Aramco value chain, whether it's an upstream technology that can improve production, or whether it's a midstream technology somewhere in the refinery improving some processes, or some inspection technology for downstream. On the Prosperity 7 side, they are also looking for very disruptive technologies, AI, technical solutions, advanced solutions in the medical side, or on the semiconductor side, or on the agriculture side. So they have a very wide lens of looking at various verticals and looking for disruptive technologies. And kind of coming back to the strategic venturing side, we're focusing sustainability. So we're looking kind of into the future, focusing some verticals like carbon capture, hydrogen, battery storage solutions, ammonia, and some of these energy transition verticals which can really change the business that we run today into something different. Going forward, we invite you to look at our portfolio and our global team across the world and evaluate how different Aramco Ventures can be in the corporate venture capital to partner with. And we can really be very helpful on also mentoring and providing insights to how a technology solution can fail or pass when tested in the real conditions. And in closing, I would say that if we'll be around here if you have any further questions, and maybe we can open it up to the audience if you want to have any questions regarding how we operate or how we can help you scale up your technology. We're happy to answer.
Hi, good morning. We're still in morning. My name is Razin, founder and CEO of ARAMCO'S. We work with anti-drone and mission-critical intelligence expertises. Some of the secular challenges we're seeing across the board is swarm drone attacks. The third offset strategy being placed, with Aramco being the epicenter of critical infrastructure. We can go back to 2019 where there was this supposed attack in the infrastructure. So has there been an initiative taken to kind of commercialize anti-drone systems? Because that is going to be, drone attacks is going to be some of the most singular threat to, let's say, global supply chain disruption, if you will, and Aramco playing a big role at it. What are the contingencies that has been taken? Would be great to see if there's initiatives being taken for that. Cheers.
You want to take that?
So, if you don't mind, I'll jump in real quick here. So, obviously the company takes these matters, of safety very seriously, and we have a sister entity called Lab 7, which is essentially our venture builder and prototyping garage, if you would. So, I was fortunate to see some of the sort of technologies they're doing to prevent just these sort of attacks. Some using drones and modern technologies that can detect and early detect threats approaching different company facilities. So yeah, thank you for that question.
Hello. What geographical areas do you guys focus your investments in?
Well, I think this is more of a question to Aramco Ventures. We invest globally. So as I mentioned earlier, we are positioned in where most of the startups and disruption is happening between China, US, Europe, and now India. But we're always open to all. In fact, we have investment that are even in Australia in food tech. So we're open and we look at all the globe.
Hi, thank you very much. My name is Adam Kaplan. I'm CEO of a company called Fluid. founded a few different companies. Quick question, for early stage, your 4 different funds, who do we talk to? Like, what's you've got amazing backgrounds there, but do we talk to one of you, all of you? And then the second question is, we develop technology that's quite innovative in the fluid liquid space, and once again, which group is of interest there? Thank you.
I think that's a very good question because one objective of this session is kind of to kind of give a brief to the startups on whom to talk with. But as my colleagues mentioned, so Wa'ed is mainly to support the Saudi entrepreneurship, local entrepreneurship ecosystem. So mainly between Wa'ed investing in the GCC, and part of supporting that entrepreneurship is actually investing in global companies that will localize here in Saudi. So they're very important in also in the 2030 initiative. For Aramco Ventures, we kind of a little bit of different mandate, so we only invest globally. We don't invest locally, because that's Wa'ed territory. But we invest globally in the companies that meet our criteria between both funds, either strategic, that more have a sustainability angle, or technology can be deployed in Saudi Aramco, or purely as from P7, we purely look at it as a pure financial VC. So I guess the choice is yours, whom do you want to talk with?
If you have ambitions to localize, we'd obviously happily support.
Thank you very much. Very, very interesting panel. So my name's Anthony Baker, and I'm CEO of a satellite company called SatView. We can look inside buildings and see activity. So my question is, a follow-on from the previous question is, so what's the journey for a startup company like ours to be assessed and brought on board into the portfolio? So do we now have to show product market fit that's relevant to Aramco, or can you explain a little bit about the process?
Yeah, maybe I can chime in here. You can reach out to any of us, basically, but we will point you in the right direction. But if it's a satellite imaging company or something to do with satellites, maybe we need to figure out how does it strategically fit with our operations. And we have different stages, regardless of whether it's early or middle or late stage. We can probably, the process works like we ask entrepreneurs to finally provide a non-confidential pitch deck that we can take a look at. And if there's a significant interest from our side, we will ask you to come and present to the team. And that's called the sense check. And then after that, we kind of deliberate internally to figure out what's the value proposition, and then we take it forward or not.
If I can add as well to my colleague Taha, is being as a venture capitalist, yes, we look at the strategic value and all of that to our operations, but one important aspect is that financial return. So any startup needs to be able to stand on its own. So part of what we're doing, this is adding value to our investment and also gaining strategic value. But it's very important criteria that we look at is that every company will somehow, as a venture capitalist, need to stand on its own, and we're going to look at it from a financial point of view as well.
So, good morning. Just to clarify, so for localization, Wa'ed only, and there we are industry agnostic, so nothing just catering towards the value chain of Aramco. And there also the question would be, are you generally open towards investment syndication, or does Wa'ed say no, it's just going to be us going in, or are you willing to go with other local or maybe international lead or follow investors?
Yeah, so typically VCs, invest. We do what typically what VCs do. We go into investment rounds. We're okay with syndicated investment rounds. So it doesn't have to be completely related to Saudi Aramco. I don't know if if you want to add anything.
Yeah, so as you said, we're sector agnostic. We shy away from specific sectors related to defense, military applications, entertainment, tourism. But by and large, we're sector agnostic. Our focus this year, per se, is deep tech, AI. These are the kind of things biotech as well. These are the kind of things we're actively seeking this year.
No, do we have time for more questions or something like that?
We'll be around here.
Yep.
Oh, question? Okay. Okay.
Hi, Ta and everybody else. Just a quick question. I'm Elijah Lubala. I run the Attila Group out of Africa. I know the global conversation is usually global, but usually the global conversation doesn't involve Africa. So I'd like to just understand what you guys look at when it comes to those investments on the Aramco side, of course.
As I mentioned, we look at all opportunities that we get from a global point of view, even in Africa as well. So if it meets the criteria and we think between our strategic fund or even our financial as well, we can look at it.
Always remember, the first answer is always yes. Come and talk to us, and then we can have a dialogue to figure out, where it fits, whether it's Aramco Ventures, whether it's Wa'ed, Yeah. If there's no more questions, we'll be around, so please feel free to reach out. We can hand you our business cards. Oh, another question.
Hi, this is Shiro from Japan for supporting Japan startups. So my question is, you have a nice building in Kahoot now, but do you sometimes work at that location, or we have to go to always Daran in Eastern Province? That is my question. For seeing your team.
Sorry, I didn't
Very
get
hard
the
to
question.
No,
Sorry.
so
Can you voice your voice?
If we want to make a contact with you,
Yes.
for having a meeting, should we go to Daran, or can we have a meeting in your nice building in Kahoot? That's my questions.
Okay, well, we are here. We're headquarters in Bahrain, but if we're going to have a meeting, I think we can exchange business cards when we can always meet anywhere or even virtually as well.
Yes, maybe it's very interesting that you call yourself patient capital. Well, it's a very new terms now. So can I understand that if you think the investment makes sense from both localization and the financial returns perspective, you will continue to follow up and increase your stake ownership on this company?
Well, I think one thing mainly when we say we're a patient capital, as you mentioned, yes, we do back our portfolio companies, but in the venture capital world, a lot of the VCs, they have different LPs, and some LPs are more looking at the dollar sign more than what is the portfolio, what is the company, and sometimes in some cases they go into trying to exit as much as they can to gain back revenue to their LPs. But for us, we have one LP. Not financial part is very important, but more driven by even a bigger vision, which makes them more of a patient and looking at the bigger picture. So in other words, we're not in a hurry to exit some of the companies, especially the companies that still have more room to grow and scale. So we try to back them and go through that stage and even scale, and we can realize that financial value at a later stage. So this is basically what we mean by a patient capital.
If I can just add to that, it also allows us to invest in technologies where others would perhaps shy away from. So for example, we've invested in quantum computing, and this is an industry where it's still in its early days, it's still being shaped and formed. So it really needs an investor that's willing to sit out and ride the journey, if you would, and we're happy to do so. So we're evergreen funds. We don't have a time where we sort of need to return investor money.
That's a great point, because you say we're also investing, and it's a very important focus area, which is sustainability. A lot of those technologies, even in healthcare as well, a lot of these technologies need a lot of patience, and still some of them at early stages. So I think this is what also differentiates us as Aramco Ventures and even Wa'ed, is that we are able to invest early and be patient all the way until the technology can scale and be adapted on a wider scale.
I think we're out of time, but as my colleague Taha mentioned, we're around. Please, we'd be happy to receive your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All.